Our film starts with a guy telling us about vampires, then warning us about the story we're about to see. We then get a written warning about vampires from producer Fred Olen Ray. When the film actually starts, we see a woman at a brothel with a police officer tied down. After some roleplay, she fangs out and feeds on him. In another part of the brothel, a blonde rides another cop like a horse. She tells him how she's going to brand him, then fangs out as well and bites him. We then get to three guys looking to pitch something to a film producer. Back at the brothel, we see a naked woman feeding on a guy. She then makes a snarky comment about the guy needing a band-aid. The guy's pitch doesn't go too well, as the producer they pitch to, who is the uncle of the one named Brock, instead tells them they need to get their feet wet before being able to produce their own movie. He tells them about the movie he's doing called Motorcycle Sluts and Heat and that he needs crew, then tells them he'll have his people call their people. We then see the madam of the brothel sleeping in front of a fireplace. Their caretaker lets them know the bodies of the police officers have been taken care of. The madam makes herself laugh when she makes a double entendre pun about the cops being off their backs. On a side note, the madam in this film is played by Britt Eklund of 007 Man with a Golden Gun fame. After a scene of the nerdy guy of the group Kyle talking to his girlfriend back home who is jealous of other women wanting him and the other guy trying to get him in trouble, they go perusing through a local paper's classifieds for women. They call a number and make a date to meet some girls in Beverly Hills. We didn't see it was the vampire's caretaker they were talking to. After a funny scene where the guys talk about how there are no women in California, with hot women literally exposing themselves behind them, and then a not so entertaining one of the guys awkwardly trying to buy stuff at a convenience store because he's too shy to buy condoms, they finally get to the brothel. The caretaker takes them into a room, and eventually three beautiful women come down the stairs. They introduce themselves as Jessica, Claudia, and Christina, while Kyle introduces the girls to Russell and Brock. Claudia takes Brock upstairs and roughs him up in a waterbed. Jessica takes Russell to a room and they have a photo shoot with her in lingerie, and Christina takes Kyle to her room and tries to go straight to business, but Kyle freaks out and takes off, which upsets her. Kyle tells his caretaker he's leaving and to tell his friends to take a cab. The caretaker thinks he's alluding to being gay, but is stopped by the madam coming down the steps, who tries to stop Kyle from leaving. You then see Christina appear, fangs out. Back with the other two guys, we see Jessica fang out at Russell to end the shoot, and then Claudia fang out and attack Brock. Christina continues to try to seduce Kyle, but he still gets away. The madam tells her he'll be back. Kyle leaves a message at the brothel looking for Brock and Russell. They eventually call back and say they have no record of them. He then heads to the brothel and asks if he can look around and finds that the place looks abandoned. Kyle tells the caretaker that he's going to call the cops. At the police station, he's told to fill out a missing persons report and to wait 24 hours. When he tells the officer the address, he's then told that's outside their jurisdiction and that he needs to contact the Beverly Hills cops before making a reference to the cops for the movie. Kyle calls Molly and tells her what's going on, then says he's going to go to Brock's uncle, the producer, for help. When he hangs up, Molly decides to head to California after Kyle. After interrupting him playing with a naked woman, Kyle tells Pendleton about the guys being missing. As they're talking, they hear a scream and Brock walks in looking very pale. Kyle grabs a compact from the secretary and they see he has no reflection. Kyle tells him he must be a vampire, but Pendleton thinks it's a prank, especially since Brock's out in daytime. They leave and put the secretary in charge of watching Brock. Back at the motel, Molly arrives looking for Kyle and finds the address to Pendleton's office. Meanwhile, Brock and Pendleton talk to a priest. The priest tells them that they have 24 hours from when the men were bitten to save them, then gives them some vampire hunting material and sends them back to the brothel to kill the head vampire, and if they don't make it in time, they'll need to kill his friends. We then get another scene of the madam and the caretaker where she makes Beverly Hills cop puns as they're questioning where their men are. At Pendleton, Molly arrives and finds the dead body of the secretary. Brock makes a bunch of excuses for what she's seeing and takes off with her. Back at the brothel, we see Russell tied up. The madam sticks the three girls on him, who then feed on him. Kyle and Pendleton arrive at the brothel and work their way in. The caretaker tries to tell them the women are out, but they instead lock him in the closet to get him out of the way, leading to a well-placed gay joke of him claiming he spent years trying to get out of the closet. We then get a scene where they call the priest again to be told how to kill vampires, whose only purpose is to sneak in some TNA with a hot nurse, and more sex double entendres where the priest is talking about killing vampires, but is sounding completely sexual to the nurse, only hearing one side of the conversation. The two guys then wander around the brothel until Claudia appears from under a cloth. Kyle presses across her forehead, resulting in her writhing in pain with green stuff coming from her head. He then places one on her chest, resulting in her disappearing. As they head out, they get separated when Christina comes out of a room and whispers something into Pendleton's ear, resulting in him heading off with her, commenting how he wondered who he'd have to screw to get off this movie. That leaves Kyle by himself. He's then approached by Jessica, who goes through every vampire cliche and innuendo that was popular at the time. This, of course, doesn't work, and Kyle stakes her, resulting in her disappearing, still spouting innuendos on the way out. Just then, a vampire Russell shows up. He tries to talk Kyle into getting turned, telling him it's not so bad, but that doesn't work, and he gets an umbrella to the chest for his effort. In the next room, the madam shows up and yells at Kyle. We see that she's already fed on Pendleton. The madam remembers Kyle and mentions he had performance issues, but he defends himself as just trying to be loyal to his girlfriend. That's when Christina shows up, tired of hearing about his girlfriend. I guess she's offended and has never been turned down before. She hypnotizes Kyle, and when that doesn't work, she goes for his pants, where she is presented with his boxers having a cross on them. He places his cross on her, destroying her. That just leaves Kyle and the madam. Kyle tosses holy water on her, resulting in her being destroyed. The film ends with Brock and Molly showing up to the brothel looking for Kyle. As they walk away, we see that Brock is still a vampire and has now turned Molly, with the caretaker still being stuck in the closet, bragging how great it is for him to have the last scene in the movie.